It happened in less than 6 seconds. 6 seconds of audio that detonated the entire political and celebrity world. A leaked confession. A quiet sentence. A truth no one was prepared to hear. Erika Kirk finally slipped. And the moment those words left her mouth, everything, Candace Owens' live broadcast, Joe Rogan's entire studio, the narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk's final day, collapsed into chaos. Because Erika didn't cry. She didn't tremble. She didn't stumble over her words like a grieving widow remembering trauma. Her voice was steady. Controlled. Too controlled. She said, "Charlie told me not to follow him that morning. He knew something was coming." The internet froze. Candace Owens' eyes widened mid-sentence. Her microphone went dead. Producers started yelling off-camera. Joe Rogan leaned so far back in his chair he looked like he'd just been punched. He muttered, barely audible, "This changes everything." Because with that single, devastating confession, Erika unintentionally revealed the one thing she has never said publicly: Charlie Kirk did not leave that hotel room calmly. He did not leave casually. He did not leave unaware. He left with fear. He left with warning. He left with knowledge. And the only person he told was Erika. Within minutes, the clip exploded across every platform imaginable. Hashtags surged. Conspiracy boards revived. Fans began dissecting Erika's tone like forensic audio analysts. And the question that no one ever dared to say aloud finally surfaced: if Charlie knew something was coming, who else knew? And why didn't Erika stop him? The moment Erika's confession leaked, the internet didn't just react. It fractured. Clips of her voice spread across timelines like a virus nobody could quarantine. People replayed the same 14 seconds over and over, listening for anything they might have missed. A breath. A pause. The tiniest flicker of guilt. Candace Owens stared into the camera, jaw slightly open, eyes burning with a mix of shock and vindication. Her show had been mid-rant about something else, when a producer shoved a phone in front of her face. He mouthed one word. "Listen." They played the audio in her ear. Erika's voice, calm. Almost too calm. "Charlie told me not to follow him that morning. He knew something was coming." Candace blinked slowly. Her hand went to her mouth. For a full 5 seconds, she didn't speak. And for Candace, silence is louder than any monologue. The control room panicked. Should they cut to commercial? End the segment? Pretend nothing happened? Instead, Candace did the one thing that made the world lean in closer. She looked straight into the camera and said, very slowly, "Why didn't she ever say that before?" Across the country, in another studio, Joe Rogan was in the middle of a totally different conversation. They were laughing. Talking about something stupid. Then Jamie slid a tablet across the table. "Dude, you need to hear this." Joe raised an eyebrow, popped one headphone off his ear and listened. The audio played. The same 14 seconds. The same eerie calm. When it ended, he didn't speak either. He leaned back, stared at the ceiling for a moment and muttered, "Oh, that's bad. That changes everything." The clip from Joe's podcast hit social media within minutes. Screenshots of his shocked expression became instant memes. People captioned it with things like, "When you realize the story was never what they told you," and "Joe just unlocked side quest. Who killed the narrative?" But underneath the jokes, the tone shifted. Fast. Because Erika's confession didn't just adjust the timeline. It shattered it. Up until now, her version of Charlie's last day had been clean. Safe. Sanitized. They woke up. They talked about their daughter. He prayed. He kissed her goodbye. He left like it was any other day. No fear. No warning. No, don't follow me. Now, suddenly, there was a warning. A boundary. A moment we never heard about. Charlie told her not to follow. Charlie knew something was coming. And that meant one thing. Whatever happened that day wasn't random. Candace's team started working like they were defusing a bomb. Producers pulled up every old interview. Every podcast clip. Every documentary snippet where Erika had talked about that morning. They scrubbed through hours of footage. Every time, her story sounded the same. He left. I stayed. I didn't know. Not once did she ever say, he told me not to follow. Candace replayed the confession again, this time out loud for her audience. Charlie told me not to follow him that morning. He knew something was coming. Then she leaned forward, eyes blazing. If he knew something was coming, she said slowly, why was she the only one he told? The live chat exploded. Thousands of messages flew up the side of the screen. She's been hiding this. Wait, so he was scared. Hold on, this means he knew. Why didn't she warn anyone? Meanwhile, Joe's feed was on fire. Clips of his stunned expression hit millions of views fast. Jamie kept refreshing the numbers. Dude, this is insane. People are saying this proves Charlie didn't just, go out on a normal errand. Joe shook his head. That's not the part that freaks me out, he said. It's that she kept that detail hidden this long. You don't forget a line like, he told me not to follow. More leaks started arriving. Not documents this time. Not yet. Messages. A former event staffer DM'd Candace's producer. I was there that morning. Something was off in the lobby. He looked different. A TPUSA volunteer wrote to an anonymous tip line. I always felt like she was leaving something out. Like she was skipping something important. A hotel employee chimed in anonymously. The way she walked through the lobby after he left. She didn't look blindsided. She looked like someone waiting for bad news. Candace's team pieced it all together on a giant whiteboard. Times. Quotes. Tiny gaps that never made sense until now. Joe's studio did the same thing, but on screens. Timeline mapped out. Text messages blown up. Every public statement Erika ever made laid out side by side with her newly leaked confession. And that's when the pattern began to emerge. The time he left the room shifted between interviews. Sometimes she said it was just after 7. Sometimes she said closer to 8. Sometimes she said she couldn't remember the exact minute. But this leaked audio. Erika mentioned the time clearly. He left at 7:12. He told me not to follow. 7:12. The exact timestamp a hallway camera had captured him stepping out of the elevator. Something law enforcement had never publicly released. Candace froze when they confirmed the match. How does she casually drop an exact time she's never used before, she asked. And why do we only hear it now, on a private call she thought would stay secret? Joe stared at the timeline on his monitor. This sounds like somebody who finally slipped, he said. Like she's been rehearsing a version for the public and then, when she's not on camera, the real one leaks out. Social media turned violent with speculation. Fan accounts broke into factions. One side insisted Erika was a victim. She'd been traumatized, manipulated, conditioned to stay silent. The other side said the quiet part out loud. If she knew he was walking into something, one viral comment read, then why didn't she stop him? Or at least tell someone? Anyone? Now Erika's slip had cracked the surface. Sarah picked up her phone with trembling fingers, and did the one thing she told herself she would never do. She messaged Candace Owens. The DM was short. Raw. She lied. He did warn her. I can prove he was scared. Candace saw it within minutes. Her team was still dissecting Erika's audio when her phone buzzed. She glanced down, expecting another anonymous tip. Oh my God, she whispered. It's his sister. Candace typed back fast. Call me. Now. Across the country, Joe Rogan's producer Jamie was getting his own surprise. An email hit the show account with no subject line, just an attachment and a single sentence. Charlie tried to warn us. You need to hear this. The sender's name. Erika Kirk. Jamie walked into the studio, holding his laptop like evidence. Dude, he said, voice low. Charlie's sister just sent us something. Within an hour, Candace and Joe were both on the phone with Sarah in separate conversations, hearing the same thing from different angles. Sarah wasn't calm. She was shaking. Her voice cracked. She swung between fury and guilt with every sentence. You don't understand, she said. He was scared. He called me the night before. He kept saying something felt wrong. And she kept telling everyone it was just a normal day. Candace spoke gently. What did he say? Sarah took a breath that sounded like it hurt. He said, they are pushing me into something I don't want to do. Erika thinks it's just politics. It's not. Candace's heart dropped. They, she repeated. Who is they? Sarah hesitated. That's the problem, she whispered. I don't know all their names. But I know he didn't trust the people around her. He kept saying, she's listening to the wrong voices. Meanwhile, Joe listened to the same story through another line. He told me he might have to meet someone alone, Sarah said. He said, if anything feels off, I'll bail. Don't worry. But he sounded worried. Joe rubbed his forehead. Did he mention Erika? He asked. Long pause. Yes, Sarah whispered. He said she was in deeper than she realized. Social media had no idea any of this was happening yet. On the surface, all people saw were Candace's cryptic posts. Just got off a call. You're not ready for what I just heard. And Joe's vague comment. If what I was just told is true, this story is a whole different monster. The speculation machine roared back to life. A fake insider account claimed, Candace is about to expose a cover-up at the highest levels. Another source tweeted a made-up claim that Charlie was planning to leave Erika that week. But behind the noise, the real leak was still forming. Sarah took a shaky breath and confessed the detail that made both Candace and Joe go silent. He left me a voicemail that morning, she said. But I never got it. Candace frowned. What do you mean never got it? The carrier records show there was a call, Sarah said. 17 seconds. But my phone never notified me. No missed call. No message alert. Nothing. It just wasn't there. Joe's studio went dead quiet when Jamie heard the same line. 17 seconds. Jamie's eyes widened. That matches the company archive ping, he said. We saw it in logs a year ago, but the recording was flagged as unavailable. Candace narrowed her eyes. Unavailable, she repeated. Or removed. Sarah's voice broke. I think someone deleted it before I ever heard it. Candace felt chills crawl up her spine. Who had access to his account? She asked. A long pause. Erika did, Sarah whispered. Across the country, Joe asked the same question. Who knew about the voicemail? He said. Erika, Sarah replied. She told me he didn't call me that morning. She said maybe I misremembered. But he always called me before big events. Always. Candace exhaled. So either the phone company glitched, she said, or someone didn't want you hearing what he said. Sarah's answer was instant. There was never a glitch with him, she said. Not once. The next move changed everything. Jamie dug into the carrier archives again, with more pressure. There should be a backup, he insisted. Even if it was deleted from the device, there should still be a network-side copy. Hours later, he got the email. Partial recovery. One file. Single audio attachment. Length, 17 seconds. Joe stared at the timestamp. The time Erika said he left the room. Candace, on a separate line, got the same confirmation from Sarah. They found it, Sarah said, voice shaking. They found his last message. Candace's throat went dry. Are you ready to hear it? She asked. Sarah let out a broken laugh. I've been waiting 2 years, she whispered. Play it. In Joe's studio, Jamie hit pause on all other recording. Dude, he said. This is it. This is his last words. Joe leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes locked on the laptop. Put it on, he said quietly. In 2 different places, on 2 different devices, at the same moment, they pressed play. Static. Wind. Footsteps. Charlie's breathing, fast, uneven. Then his voice. Not calm. Not casual. Not like someone walking to a normal meeting. He sounded truly, unmistakably scared. I'm almost there, he whispered. If something happens, tell her she was right. Candace's eyes filled with tears. Tell who? She whispered at the screen. On the recording, there was a staggered inhale, like he was forcing himself forward. I shouldn't have come alone, Charlie said. A muffled sound. A thump. More static. Then 4 final words that made every person listening go still. Erika, I'm sorry. The voicemail cut off. Sarah started sobbing on the phone. Candace couldn't speak. Joe didn't move. Because those 4 words didn't just prove he was afraid. They proved he knew who he was leaving behind. And nobody was ready for what Sarah said next. Candace, she whispered softly, that's not the only thing he left. Sarah didn't realize, she was gripping the phone so hard until her knuckles turned white. Her voice wobbled, but there was steel underneath it now. Candace, she said, the voicemail isn't all he left. He left something else. Candace leaned forward in her chair. What did he leave? A letter, Sarah whispered. He told me the night before, if anything happens, I'll put it where you can't miss it. I thought he was being dramatic. Now I know he was scared. Across the country, on a separate call, Joe heard the same thing. He left something written. Joe asked slowly. Yes, Sarah replied. He always used hotel notepads. Little stupid letters when he traveled. Except this time he was serious. He said, if I don't make it back to my phone, you'll know. Where? Candace asked. The nightstand, Sarah said. Next to the bed. That's where he always put them. Candace felt her pulse rising. And when you went to the room after he died? Sarah's laugh was brittle. There was nothing, she said. The bed was made. The trash was empty. No notepad, no letter. It looked like a model room. Like nobody had ever slept there. That doesn't happen by accident, Candace said. Someone wanted it cleared. On Joe's end, Jamie was already on the surface, it sounded firm. But people with good ears caught what she didn't say. She didn't deny being there. She didn't deny being on that floor. She didn't deny entering the room. She only denied improper involvement. Candace saw it and lit up. She went live. "I've seen the hotel access logs," she said. "I know exactly whose keycard opened that room. So if this is all just defamatory lies, maybe she'd like to explain her master key being used after housekeeping, when Charlie was already gone." Joe went live too, but instead of starting with Bridget, he started with Charlie. He played the recovered voicemail in full. "I'm almost there. If something happens, tell her she was right. I shouldn't have come alone. Erika, I'm sorry." The studio went silent. "That is not the voice of a man walking into a normal meeting," Joe said. "That's the voice of someone walking into something he didn't trust." Within minutes, Bridget's name was trending. Anonymous aides started sending messages. Charlie hated how much influence she had over Erika. "He told us she was pushing them into things he didn't sign up for." Meanwhile, Sarah's phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a host or a journalist. It was an unknown number. The text was icy. "Stop talking. You're risking more than you understand." Another message came through. A photo of her apartment building entrance. She closed her eyes, swallowed her fear, and screenshot everything. Then she did the one thing every handler prays a witness is too scared to do. She posted it publicly. Her caption was short. "They didn't scare my brother into silence. They're not scaring me either." Support flooded in. Candace reposted it. Joe said on air, "When they start sending pictures of your front door, you're over the target." Bridget's team escalated. Letters went out to networks. Threats of lawsuits. Some channels blinked. But not everyone backed down. Candace stared at the legal email and smirked. "Good," she said. "See you in Discovery." Joe shrugged on his show. "If talking about a dead man's last voicemail is defamatory," he said, "then reality is about to be Exhibit A." Somewhere in the middle of all of it, Erika finally broke. Ignoring her advisors, she went live from a dark room, no makeup, just a shaking phone and a wrecked face. "I'm tired of people speaking for me," she whispered. "Yes, he told me not to follow. Yes, he seemed scared. I thought it was just pressure. I didn't understand what he was really afraid of." She hesitated. "I trusted people I shouldn't have trusted," she said. "I let someone else tell me what to say, what not to say. I thought I was protecting our image. I didn't realize I was burying the truth." Her eyes filled. "I'm sorry, Sarah," she said. "I'm sorry, Charlie." The stream cut off suddenly, like someone yanked the phone away. A minute later, the live disappeared from her profile. But it was already everywhere. While the internet replayed Erika's breakdown on a loop, Candace's inbox lit up with one more message. No name. No subject line. Just an attachment. And a sentence. "I have a scan of Charlie's letter. The person he named isn't who you think. Tonight." If you watched this entire investigation unfold, then you already understand what happens next could change everything we thought we knew about Charlie's last day. Because the letter, the real letter, the one he wrote before walking into danger alone, is out there. And the person who has it is ready to expose a name none of us expected. That means the next chapter is not just another episode. It's the moment the truth breaks the surface. Political careers will shake. Alliances will crumble. Someone who thought they were untouchable is about to be dragged into the light. But here's the part most people don't realize. The only reason this story hasn't been buried is because you're here. You watched. You questioned. You refused to let the narrative die the way they wanted it to. So if you want the truth, not the polished PR version, not the sanitized statement, not the legal spin, but the real, raw, unfiltered truth Charlie tried to leave behind, you need to hit like right now. It forces the algorithm to push this story further than the people trying to silence it. Drop your theories in the comments. Who do you think Charlie named in that letter? Who was he afraid of? And who is trying so desperately to hide the answer? And above all, subscribe with notifications on. Not later. Not eventually. Now. Because when that letter drops, you won't want to hear it secondhand. You'll want to witness the moment the entire truth comes crashing down.